In our spotlight tonight, a new bombshell report about the FBI and how it allegedly dealt with reports of child sexual abuse. A probe by the Justice Department's Inspector General suggests the FBI mishandled dozens of tips in cases of sexual abuse, including not following up on leads, not referring the cases to state or local law enforcement, or in some cases, violating clear FBI policies on how these sensitive cases should be handled. This comes even after the agency promised to reform in the wake of the botched handling of the assault allegations against former USA Olympics gymnastics team doctor Larry Nassar. This investigation was launched for several Olympic athletes, including Simone Biles and Ali Reisman, were among those who testified at a Senate hearing in 2021, detailing the abuse they suffered at the hands of the disgraced team doctor. In April 2024, a Justice Department settlement over the FBI's failures paid over $138 million to victims of Nassar's abuse. I want to bring back our panel here, and joining us also is ABC News Justice reporter Alex Mallett, along with, of course, Mike, Julie, and Ramesh. Alex, welcome in. I do want to start with you. What stood out to you from this IG report? What exactly did they find? And how did all of this go wrong, especially given those findings after that Nassar investigation?
Yeah, I mean, Jay, remember that congressional testimony from the Olympic athletes? It was so searing, and you heard the FBI director there promise to them, after apologizing to them, that he would do everything in his power to make sure that that would never happen to anyone again during his term. And what we saw is in the 16 months after that report was released, the Inspector General conducted an audit of roughly 327 cases where the FBI received reports of sexual abuse of children. And in 42 of those incidents that they surveyed, that's 13%, they said it was so inadequately investigated that they had to go back to the FBI and say, hey, there are children that could be potentially endangered here because you so poorly investigated. Jay, the FBI is reacting to this tonight, saying basically that there's a lot of this is being kind of overshadowed by paperwork issues. They're also saying that, this is a very small minority of cases, but we're talking about children, and you think about the stories that we heard of those Olympians, there's a lot of untold voices now in this report that we may not ever hear from about the abuse that they suffered. So it's a really serious, another black eye for the FBI at a really crucial time, Jay.
A black eye for the FBI. I want to use your words and bring them here to Mike Muse. Mike, when you saw this break, first, what was your reaction? But also, in your view, how does the FBI recover from this in terms of its image?
My initial opinion, I was gutted, shocked, and appalled. These are children that we were talking about. These are children who don't have agency to communicate a particularly repetitive abuse. And also, too, if these are minors who had the bravery to come forward the first time, you would expect that they will be heard and that they will feel protected. Oftentimes, we see sexual offenders repeat often. And so the mere fact that they might have been going through this tragic circumstance and being re-victimized after seeking help is just unfathomable. What I'm shocked at, too, as well, is that after FBI Director Christopher Wray, there was no sense of urgency, which is why I don't quite buy the FBI statement that they released today, that they're burdened down by paperwork. It seems like at that time, after that hearing committee, that they would have done more to create a sense of urgency, to create a due process that eliminated the red tape that happens. And also, too, Jay, I'm actually shocked that there hasn't been more interagency coordination between local authorities. I think that, for me, is just such a glaring negligence that they wouldn't be in more communication with local authorities to help protect the children who are so vulnerable in these circumstances and situations. Shocked and appalled.
Ramesh, we've already seen Dick Durbin, chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, call for Director Wray to answer for this report. We're talking about children here. As Alex noted, if just one falls through the cracks, that is one too many. Do you think congressional inquiries or some kind of fallout from this report is really going to make meaningful change at the FBI?
Well, I certainly hope so. And I do think that there is going to be a bipartisan backlash to the FBI, that people really across the political spectrum are going to be outraged and appalled, both by the AIG's accusations and by this defensive bureaucratic response that it's getting from the Bureau, which is, I think, not at all up to the challenge that has been laid out. It doesn't really reckon with the scale of the failure that has been exposed.
Julie, this is one of those issues that unites Democrats and Republicans. Do you see some kind of push in Congress or something else of that nature starting to shake things loose here?
I do, but I have to say what I'm particularly shocked about, in addition to the findings in this report, is how a huge and unforced error this is for Chris Wray. I mean, this is an FBI director who's presided over an agency that has been the topic of discussion by the Republican Party in completely politicizing going after the FBI, and to give them this kind of ammunition on an issue that really no Democrat or Republican can ever side with the FBI on when children are being harmed is just a huge unforced error. It's a huge miscalculation at a time when his agency is embattled and potentially facing an administration going back to Donald Trump that will try to dismantle the FBI. So I don't understand where Chris Wray's head was in all of this and how this was allowed to even.
Alex Mallon, I want to thank you for your reporting on this, sir. Mike, Julie, and Ramesh, stay with us.